Yes, a very good morning, Namibia, and welcome back to Unpacking the Day, your favorite, 24-hour talk radio station. So this morning, we are looking at a topic filled with both immense promise and critical questions. Namibia's recent offshore oil discoveries. So we stand at the pivotal moment. A chance to potentially transform our nation and bring widespread prosperity. But with great opportunities comes great responsibility. So will this newfound wealth be a blessing or it could be a curse? So now, to help us unpack all of this, and we are incredibly honored to have with us Dr. John Steytler. Dr. Steytler is the founding member and the MD of R&J Steytler, and he has written a real insightful piece on this very subject that we're going to look at. So we will be discussing today with Dr. Steytler. A warm welcome to Unpacking the Day, Doctor, and very good morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
All right. Your article that you have written recently paint Namibia on the edge of something huge with this oil discovery. So what is the core message you want Namibian to take away from your writing right now as we stand on the brink of this oil era?
So I try to give two messages.
Yeah.
That we should be concerned about what people call the Dutch disease. And we should be concerned about what people call a curse.
Yeah.
And these are two separate concepts. And I see in the public domain they are used interchangeably. So maybe first let me clarify the two concepts.
Yeah.
So when we speak of the Dutch disease, that's more an economic matter.
Yeah.
It's an economic issue that when you have suddenly discoveries of natural resources, it can actually undermine other sectors of the economy.
Yeah.
And I want us to speak more about the Dutch disease because I think that's the concern that I wanted to raise. The curse is more about society and how it affects people. And so I'm less concerned about the oil curse because I do believe that Namibia has a credible record of good governance.
Yeah.
But we should also watch we should avoid that curse because it could come. But I personally believe that the curse is lesser of a problem for us.
Yeah.
I think what's my key message is more on what we call the Dutch disease. Because and to some extent, I must say, to some extent, we already suffer from the Dutch disease.
Yeah.
Because we are over reliant on natural resources. If you look at our exports, for example, they are mainly natural resources that we export. And we have made very slow progress in developing the manufacturing sector and also the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
Now, if the oil comes, there's a concern that we could actually pay more attention to the oil sector and less attention to manufacturing and to agriculture. And agriculture, at the stage of our economic development, is very important. That we have to support agricultural activities and agro-processing and manufacturing.
Yeah.
But with the Dutch disease, the way it works, it's actually worked through the exchange rate.
Yeah.
And so people may argue that, okay, but our exchange rate is 1-on-1 to the South African rand. But there's a concept, there's a difference between what we call the nominal effective exchange rate and the real effective exchange rate.
Yeah.
And because of our over reliance on
South Africa.
On the natural resources.
Oh, okay. Mm.
We have, over the years, we've actually neglected manufacturing. Our manufacturing is not competitive. Our agriculture, with the exception of maybe beef and grapes, are not competitive.
What causes that oversight, or that over-reliance?
So the over-reliance is it's because this is where the money is.
Yeah.
And so you have the inflows, and this is where the high-paying jobs are. Yes, I mean, if you have the opportunity, if I have the opportunity to work with debt marine or to work on a farm,
yeah,
I will rather work with debt marine.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
So that's the concern. How do we stimulate agricultural activities? If you look at where we are in our economic trajectory, we should actually pay more attention to stimulating agricultural produce, manufacturing, and here I speak of basic manufacturing because we have to evolve over time. But a lot of the key investments, they go into this high capital intensive industry.
Yeah.
And within the industries that are not capital intensive, but that are labor intensive.
Yeah.
We don't see much investment going into those industries.
Yeah. So the fear now is that because of oil boom, we made the focus, which now the Dutch disease, we may focus more on oil industries and ignore the other sectors that equally important, which also actually the emphasis of the government is also to diversify, our resources. So that's actually the fear.
So yeah, that's the fear. So one thing is that if you look at progression of societies, so there's sometimes in economic progression, there's a natural progression from primary, secondary, tertiary industries.
Yeah.
So now we actually want to leapfrog, but in the process we may neglect the primary industries.
Yeah.
So and that's not wrong. We can actually leapfrog, but you must also consider that if you look at the labor market, so we have an abundance of unskilled labor.
Yeah.
And we have a kind of a scarcity of skilled labor. So now with the oil and the gas and some of the other industries that are coming, they require higher skills.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have people that in the labor force that have not completed 8 years of proper schooling.
Yeah.
And so how are we going to accommodate them? So here is where, for example, other industries are important, like in particular agriculture, tourism, agro-processing, skills that, industries that require skills that are available in Namibia. Because I do believe to unlock agricultural productivity, we do have people that can come in there.
Yeah.
We don't have to mechanize immediately. We can go kind of in a way where we mechanize gradually. Hospitality is another key industry. So I think it's a matter of economic planning, how we are going to do it. I also want to just clarify that I do think it's important that we develop the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
And we also don't have a lot of time to do it because the world is decarbonizing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we must look at the realities in Namibia and say that we do have an abundance of labor, unskilled labor, and what are we going to do with it? And also we do have challenges of food security.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We do need to develop manufacturing.
Yeah.
Because manufacturing is where we can absorb more labor. Imagine if you have a textile factory in Namibia. That's just an example. I'm giving it because once we had a textile factory, and there were like 8,000 to 10,000 people employed in a place called Otshimusi in Windhoek.
Yeah.
And you can see how many people were employed. But if you do this capital intensive industry, then you have fewer people that are employed.
Yeah.
So we need to strike that balance.
All right. So now we have some experts that are warning about a bleak outlook if we are not careful. So what makes you optimistic about Namibia's our path? What makes you optimistic about our path?
So here is where I said we have to differentiate between the Dutch disease, and I spoke a lot about it, and I think when it comes to the Dutch disease, I'm very concerned about it.
Yeah.
The curse is a different phenomena. The curse is how it will affect people, society, inequality. So with a curse, if you have this oil money coming in, it can actually fuel corruption, it can fuel bad governance, it can fuel this kind of maybe the oil rods and things that we call. So what makes me optimistic is when I look at the governance institutions in Namibia.
Yeah.
I do think they are much stronger than countries that have fallen into the curse.
Yeah.
So, and I think our institutions have been tested, and we have seen our institutions are resilient. Our courts are resilient. Property rights are being protected. Sometimes people say, "Wow, maybe we should have a model where we can move faster." But when you have institutions that are working, sometimes it works slower, but at the end, it works.
Yeah.
And if you look at the ratings that we have globally on competitiveness, you will find there's always high rating for Namibia on institutions, especially on the judiciary.
Yeah.
So I think our courts are working. The rule of law is working in Namibia. I think maybe there could be improvements in terms of efficiencies.
Yeah.
But generally, I'm optimistic that we are not going to fall into the oil curse.
Yeah.
But just because of that, or maybe let me say because of that, we should actually be careful that we don't. If the oil comes, that our institutions are not being undermined. That the oil doesn't benefit an elite group.
Yeah.
That the oil group benefits the nation. So here I'm glad, for example, that our current president has taken the oil and gas into the office of the presidency. And so that should send a signal that we are not going to tolerate corruption. We are not going to tolerate certain things that happened.
Yeah.
I'm also, in the article I also said, I'm also very happy that we've created a sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the intention is that all the resources that we have in Namibia, a portion of it must go into the sovereign wealth fund. And it has started to happen. So that so that future generations can also benefit from this resource. So on the curse side, I'm having a much kind of more optimistic view.
Yeah.
On the side of the Dutch disease, I think there we have to drill in deeper, because I will actually argue that we already suffer from the Dutch disease.
Yeah.
Because we've been trying for 35 years now to diversify the economy. And And when you look at diversification, you need to look at the contribution of different sectors to the economy. Primary, secondary, tertiary sector. And you find over the 35 years, we've been stagnant.
Yeah.
We still rely more on the primary industries. And one of the reasons for it is that every time when maybe we discover a new mine gets open, and then that contribution of mining to GDP increases. So we have to be much more intentional in unlocking opportunities in the manufacturing sector and in the agricultural sector. And in agriculture, the focus for me should be more on the agro-processing. But before we can come to agro-processing, we have to increase the productivity on farmlands. It will be difficult for Meatco or Savannah or Beefco to produce more polonies if we don't have more cattle. And we can't have more cattle if we don't have grazing. We have invader bush that we can treat, and that can increase more opportunities for cattle, for example. So I think we must be a bit more intentional in unlocking the opportunities in the agricultural value chain that will feed into the manufacturing value chain. And the same also with some of the other natural resources that we have.
The other thing, you said weak institution and governance gap lead to OPEC deals. That's what you said in your article. How can we spot those early on? How do we spot that early on?
So we need to have early warning signals and mechanisms, and so sometimes we have whistleblowers. So we should also take whistleblowing a bit more serious. We should not wait until we say, okay, there is now evidence we can proceed. So we need to strengthen the efficiency. We need to protect the whistleblowers. I know that we have a Whistleblowers Act, but sometimes people are afraid to blow the whistle because they can be stigmatized. At the same time, we must also take cognizance of the fact that the whistle can be blown. Referees can be biased. So I think we just need to strengthen that element, that there must be confidence in the system. If I, for example, am suspicious or you are suspicious of something, will I have the confidence to go out and take that risk that something could happen? But at the same time, some people, they have really nothing to lose. Or they have other intentions. They can also blow the whistle to destroy people. So there must be a good balance on that one, that we when the whistle is blown, it's blown in the right manner. There must be oversight and fairness.
So analyzing pitfall to avoid them, that's key in your article. What is one major pitfall Namibia should watch out for first? What is that first thing that we should watch out?
I think the first thing that we should watch out, we should not be in denial. So we should say that what happened in other countries, it can also happen to us. Let me give you a practical example. So when Namibians travel abroad, then we become like foreigners when we travel, and we are treated differently. And when we're here, we are also treated differently. So say, for example, if I'm at a roadblock, so because I'm a Namibian, I can just go through. And then I say, all our roadblocks are working. There's no kickbacks, nothing.
Yeah.
But then there could be a foreign national that gets pulled off.
Yeah.
And we don't know the experience that that foreign national is going through. And a foreign national can say, wow, it was horrible. I was pulled off. I was asked for money. But as a Namibian, I know that I can't be asked for money. But in reality, we also don't have statistical evidence that it happens.
Yeah.
So we work on anecdotal evidence. And so for me, the system works. When I go through, I wave. Maybe when I have a foreign plate, I get pulled off. And it has happened to me, for example, when I've traveled to some of the neighboring countries that I got pulled off.
Yeah.
And then they asked me all sort of things. And I thought I had everything together. And then you realize actually people want just to get something out of me. So we have to collect more data. We have to be more evidence driven.
Yeah.
We cannot just assume that things are working.
All right. So, and if Namibia doesn't put strong governance structure in place, what are the biggest risks?
So the risk is, it's evident. We have so many examples where, countries that don't have strong governance institutions. And I actually don't want to call it governance institutions. I want to say checks and balances.
Yeah.
There must be checks and balances. If there are no checks and balances, then it can actually just fuel corruption. So we must have confidence that our institutions are working. We must have confidence that if I complain, my complaint has been listened to. It's not just being said, oh, these are just difficult people. They always complain.
Yeah.
We have to take all the complaints serious. Whether it may at the beginning look like it's not a serious complaint, but we have to say, okay, we are going to investigate, we're going to check. But if that doesn't happen, you will develop a culture of fear where people are not reporting.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, we may have then few individuals that are kind of what Namibians call connected. They are thriving. It will actually lead to increased inequalities that we have. So inequality is not just inequality of income and wealth, but inequality is a more broader concept. Inequality is also do we have equal access to people, public official bearers? Do we have equal access to institutions? Do we have equal access to mobility?
Yeah.
And if we don't have those strong institutions, you will find the ability for people to be mobile over time.
Yeah.
It will be diminished. Because you want to see a situation where somebody, a domestic worker's child becomes a medical doctor or a lawyer. But if the domestic worker does not have the same access to networks and connections that I have, then the boy or the girl of the domestic worker will ability to move upwards will be reduced.
Yeah.
So for me, planning should start at a lower level. So often our planning, when we do consultations, it starts at a higher level.
Higher level, yeah.
Yes, and we converge. For example, when we plan, we have nice conferences, and these conferences they happen in very nice hotels with food
Yeah.
But the deeper level consultation on what people used to call grassroots consultation, sometimes that aspect is missing.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the establishment of the virtual fund. What makes a sovereign wealth fund important in this context, and why it is a positive development?
So there are two reasons why it's important to have a sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah.
And for me, the first one is that the resources that we have, they are not going to be there forever.
Mm.
And so we have to find a way to turn that natural resource into a different asset.
Yeah.
And through the sovereign wealth fund, we can do that. So if we take out the oil or the gold or the uranium, after some years, we might not have uranium.
Yeah. Mm.
Or we will not have gold. But if you put part of it in a sovereign wealth fund, then you can say we have transformed that gold into a financial asset.
Yeah.
So that it's not, so that we have sustainability, because extraction is not sustainable.
Mm.
That's number one. But number two is that the resources that we have, it doesn't belong to our generation. It belongs to all the generations that are coming.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way for future generations to also benefit from the current resources.
Mm.
So our children in future should say that we should not have a Coleman's Cop. It's now a museum. We can go there.
Yeah.
But I should say that I still benefit from the diamond resource that was there many, many years ago. So it's for the future generations. And on the sovereign wealth fund, I think it's very important that we must understand this sovereign wealth fund is not for us.
Yeah.
It's even not for our children. It's for the children of our children. Therefore, the sovereign wealth fund in the beginning for the next 30 or 50 years, we should not even take money out of that sovereign wealth fund to spend on something.
Yeah.
We should say it's strictly there for the future generations. And when I look at the rules of the sovereign wealth fund, I'm actually happy that it says that even if there's an economic downturn now, a budget deficit, we can't go into the sovereign wealth fund to fund the budget deficit because we don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
The sovereign wealth fund is less than 1 billion. So the sovereign wealth fund is not there to fund current expenditure. It's there for the future.
Yeah.
And those rules must be strictly adhered to.
Yeah.
It's maybe another analogy that somebody once said is we are planting a tree.
Yeah.
And our grandchildren will sit under the shade of the tree.
Of that tree.
So for me, I will not sit under the shade of the tree of the so even my son not.
Because it hasn't grown yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if he has grown, my son, yes, it hasn't grown. So we have to be very protective of the sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah.
And say it must not, the money that goes there, I see there's a misunderstanding. People think, okay, we have this fund and we can use this fund to do certain things.
Yeah.
This fund is the fund for the future. Maybe we should not call it a sovereign wealth fund. I think maybe we should advocate to say the future fund.
Yeah.
The fund for the future.
Yeah, the future fund.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also argue that oil worth alone, it doesn't guarantee prosperity. So how do we make sure it creates real jobs and it improve an improvement of people's life?
I think we firstly, when the private sector and international investors, they've taken a lot of risk. And I'm glad government did not take that risk. So when the oil comes, then we need to have good rules of engagement.
Yeah.
One of the models that I like is the model that we have with Marine, for example, where there is a tax on royalty.
Yeah.
It's like a rent tax. So even if the company doesn't make a profit, there must still be a tax paid, and then there must be tax paid on if there's a profit. And we need to also look at how can we close certain gaps on declaring profit. So there's one person that's very famous. He was yesterday in the Middle East that doesn't pay tax.
Yeah.
And so we need to make sure that these companies, when they benefit from the rent of our natural resources, that they contribute optimally to the tax collection.
Yeah.
And that I think we can do. But then once that's happened, then the question is what happens to the tax that has been collected? And how does it benefit Namibians? And so here is what is important is transparency.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that Marine, for example, so let me not pick Marine, let me just say the diamond industry. They've contributed a lot to the development of human resources into Namibia. But if you have to apportion it becomes difficult. So we have to come up also with a way where we can increase transparency. So I need to know, for example, on the uranium taxes, what's happening to that?
Yeah.
And we just know that we export uranium, we see the export figures, we see how much they contribute to tax, but we don't know what's happening to the tax money that has gone to the fiscus. So on natural resources, we should find a way to be more transparent on what's happening. Yeah. It's not like a value-added tax or a general tax. It's a specific tax. And we should be able, for example, to say that when it comes to natural resources, that we must have certain rules on tax and how and ring fence the tax. So in the case of Botswana, when they discovered diamonds, they've said that the tax collected from diamonds must be ring fenced and must be spent in a certain manner. And the first rule that Botswana came up with, they said the tax collected from diamonds must not go into current expenditure or consumption expenditure. It must only be utilized for investment. But then they realized, okay, what is investment? So they realized that education and health is also investment.
Yeah.
And they said, if diamond revenue also is used to promote education and health, then it will classify as investment.
Yeah.
But all other current expenditure, the diamond revenue cannot go there. It must be saved for future generations.
Yeah.
So natural resources, for me, we should have a similar rule where we say that it must be used for investment, not for consumption, not for paying salaries, but it must be used for building classrooms, for building hospitals, for getting equipment into the hospitals. And then we find another way to pay the salaries, the remuneration of the teachers and the doctors from other taxes.
All right. So now, how do you view the government's current engagement with with oil companies and investors. There's always a concern in terms of how we engage oil companies and investors. And maybe a follow-up question to that: do you think that Namibian leadership, and I'm not just talking specifically government in terms of, president and ministers, but also officials that engage, do you think Namibian leadership is prepared to tackle the challenges of managing oil wealth?
So that's a very difficult question to answer, because I'm not there. But what I understand. Yeah. And I'm just looking at what I observe. So I see there is a real commitment to engage with investors.
Yeah.
So it has always been there. Even if you look at the recent visit that the president had to the United Nations General Assembly.
Yeah.
He could have just gone there to give a statement, but he used the opportunity also to engage with the private sector, with investors.
Yeah.
And I think that's very good. When it comes to investment promotion, we are doing generally very good when we sell Namibia outside.
Mm.
But I think we have to get more certainty on certain frameworks, where investors would like to get more clarity. And I also do think that if we look at an industry, the oil and gas industry, it's an industry. Just if one company succeeds, just one company.
Yeah.
And there are several. But if just one company decide we have financial closure, the amount of money that will go into unlocking that opportunity will be more than the GDP of the country.
Mm.
So now, if that's the case, the question is then, on our side in Namibia, do we have sufficient skills, resources that will engage these oil companies?
Yeah.
It's our legal frameworks, because now we start to enter into international law, international agreements. And these guys, if I can give you an example, there's one company that says if this happens, they will have to put in 10 to 15 billion US dollars. So now times that to 817 at the exchange rate.
Yeah.
So they are willing, if they put that risk, they're willing to put a lot of human resources behind it.
Yeah.
When you have an agreement, final investment decision, I've seen some of those books. I call them books because they're so detailed.
Yeah.
So I think on our side, I'm not certain, but I think we have to really attract more people, highly skilled Namibians, and even if not Namibians, but people that will fight for the best deal for Namibia to be on our negotiating table.
Yeah.
To negotiate with an international company like Total or Shell. These guys have been in the game for more than 65 years.
Yeah. So now, in your view, what would be signs that Namibia is actually on the right track with its oil management in different phases? Like at the phase where we are what would be the signs that Namibia is actually on the right track with our oil management?
I think we've been communicating quite frequently on the oil management. We have created an environment where the oil companies, they have the confidence to put money in the sea. If you take an oil company, Shell or Total, they will, when they drill to see this oil, you know how much they spend?
Yeah.
They spend about the equivalent of $1 billion Namibian dollars just on to drill.
On drilling, yeah.
And so if there was no confidence, then they would not take that risk to put so much money. They would not even come. So I think and this is a question maybe better asked to them, but I think they have confidence in our system. They have confidence in our predictability.
Yeah.
I must say, of recent, our messaging on the oil and gas and also vis-a-vis the green hydrogen, it can improve as a nation. Because there are questions that people are asking out there. Where is the emphasis? Is it oil and gas? Is it green hydrogen? Can they coexist? So my understanding, for example, on the green hydrogen is that government was always clear this is a nascent industry. We don't expect results overnight. It will come. But then we need to be a bit more proactive as a nation in shaping the narrative where we are going.
Yeah.
And I do believe these two industries, they can coexist. It's not the one or the other. Incidentally, many of the oil companies, some that are also exploring for oil in Namibia, they are also investing in initiatives of green hydrogen. So these are things that will happen simultaneously.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's need for more clarity, and maybe for investors, but also for clarity for me and communication. It's often we communicate to the investors outside, but we don't communicate to the Namibians. We don't communicate to the people where the resources are.
Yeah.
So I think we should also start to talk to ourselves instead of just selling the Namibian narrative. You know, after all, in Agenda 2063 of the AU, it's called the Africa We Want.
We want.
And so the Africa We Want is the Africa where our citizens are engaged, our citizens are informed, our citizens can ask questions, and they should not feel that I can't ask this question. So we need to do more in talking to ourselves as the Namibian people.
Yeah.
Often we talk more to people from outside, which is good because it's marketing and we need to market Namibia.
Yeah.
But we should not forget that there's also our people here in Namibia that we have to talk to.
Yeah.
On economic issues, not just on political issues.
Political, yeah, exactly. And the other way, when looking at also, you mentioned earlier on the resource case, what could be potential warning? What could be the potential warning signs that Namibia is actually slipping? We are now slipping into that resource curse. You know, any warning signs that you may think of that would, you know, tell us that, hey, we are now slipping actually into that resource curse?
I can't think of any off the cuff, but one of it that's a bit concerning for me is if I look at the national debt levels that we have.
Yeah.
I think we are becoming comfortable as a nation to borrow more.
Yeah.
We have, if you look at our national debt to GDP ratio, it's a bit concerning for me. If you just square that debt to GDP ratio per person, then almost every Namibian, and I say every Namibian, not just the head of the household, we are already owing about 60,000, 70,000 to debt. and we have higher unemployment. So you can see the debt burden is becoming very heavy. We are spending more on paying debt than we are spending on our health system.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is we have the ability now to fund the debt, because investors, they look at the ability of Namibia to service the debt. They say, okay, the oil is going to come, so it's not so risky. So they give us debt. But I think we should say, just because they give us money, we should be a bit more prudent on the debt management.
Yeah.
And just ask, what are we going to use the debt for? And who's going to repay the debt? It's also important. Because you and I, or at least me, I don't know your age, but I'm not going to.
I'm quite old.
Yes, I'm not going to repay the debt, but my son will repay the debt.
Yeah.
Because now we have to, when we borrow, we're actually now borrowing long term.
Yeah.
So we have to. So it's easy for me. I won't be around when the debt has to be repaid.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say, let's borrow more. And the people that look at Namibia say, oh, Namibia is going to boom. There's an oil industry coming. Let's give them money. So we have to reflect on that.
Yeah. Yep. Because of our time, Namibia recognize oil can be both a blessing and a curse. So you use the powerful concept of Harambe, pulling together. So how important is this spirit of unity in ensuring oil becomes a blessing for all Namibians?
I think that's very important. And I want to go back to one of the principles of Agenda 2030 that Namibia subscribed to, which is the UN Agenda 2030. It speaks about sustainable development goals, and it has about 21 goals.
Yeah.
But on top of the goals, there are 5 key principles. And I'm just going to zoom into one. I'm not going to speak on the other 4 principles.
Yeah.
But the one principle of Agenda 2030 that I like is LNOB, leave no one behind.
Yeah.
So when we say leave no one behind, it means that we have to engage our citizens. It cannot be development should not be top down. It should be bottom up and top down at the same time. It sounds confusing. It sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but there must be leadership. But at the same time, there must be also consultations from the bottom.
Yeah.
But we have to engage the citizens, and they have to understand, what does it mean? Do we have conversations on oil and gas? Do we have what we call national consultations on green hydrogen, on this and that? And it I suppose it happens, but I think it can be done better. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
I just in my own circle, and I'm an economist, kind of, and so when I go out, often people will come to me, and these are people that are already well informed.
Yeah.
And they ask me questions. They say, "Oh, John, what is going to happen to this and that?"
Yeah.
And they don't know. So now, if they don't know, and this just in my circle, if they don't know, what about the person that sits in Tsumkwe?
Exactly.
Yes, or the person that sits down in the south, a Davet constituency.
Yeah.
So how do we bring them on board, and how do we say this is the Africa that we want.
Yeah.
This is, yes.
Yeah.
So I think we can do much better. We must also, there's something that I looked at, that I thought for some time, we should also be able to communicate in vernaculars.
Yeah.
I think we've neglected that aspect. So here, radio is important. So I see in radio we have communication in vernaculars, but on some of the written content, we don't have.
Especially government's content, yeah.
Government content. So we need to find ways to connect to every person in Namibia.
Yeah. So you conclude by saying oil should not define Namibia, but finance its future. So what does that vision look like? What is the ideal future for Namibia, fueled by this oil wealth, but not defined by it?
So let me give a concrete example. If you go to a place called Dubai, so they discovered oil and gas.
Yeah.
Today, Dubai is not known for oil and gas. If you go to Dubai, you can see it's known for tertiary industries. So I think if we can emulate an example like Dubai, where we say that this oil funds that we've transformed it into making Namibia the most attractive place for medical services. Come to Namibia for medical procedures and at the same time also rejuvenate.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we can use to transform the oil wealth. So we need to we first need to define what is that future Namibia. So there are two things for me in a future Namibia that's exceedingly important. One is we must have top quality education. A person that's trained in Namibia should be able to work anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Conversely, people anywhere in the world will want to come to a university in Namibia because they will say this is a top university. It's like what Singapore did and South Korea. You find that Americans, Europeans, Africans, they want to go and study at a certain school in Singapore.
Yeah.
So we should have the ability, the quality of our education should differentiate us. So that's one. Number two is healthcare. That should also differentiate us. And then, the other one that maybe I will add, will be just the quality of life in general, the safety, the security. So if we can use those oil funds to create that society where Namibia becomes like the Singapore of Africa or the Dubai of Africa or the Switzerland of Africa, we can call it whatever we want to, or Namibia becomes a Chile in Africa. And we can do it. And Dubai has done it. Singapore has done it. Chile has done it. Taiwan has done it. So there's so many examples. So in Africa currently, Rwanda is very intentional in differentiating itself.
Yeah.
Mauritius has just been reclassified to be the first African country that has reached development status according to the classification of the World Bank.
Yeah.
So I've been to Mauritius and said, "Oh, Namibia is so much better to be than in Mauritius." I've been to Rwanda. I said, "Wow, I'm so glad that I'm back in Windhoek." So I think we have a lot of good things happening in Namibia.
Yeah.
but we need to send out the right signals. We need to be much more intentional in quality education, quality health care. Those are two basics. We have to go to basic things.
Yeah.
We need to invest more in agriculture. It's because our grapes are the best grapes in the world. Our beef is the best beef in the world. But look, we don't have enough beef to sell. So the government has now negotiated with the EU, with America, with China, and our abattoirs can meet all those standards, but we don't have enough beef to sell to them. So it goes back to improving the productivity of agriculture. So we are able to fulfill those quotas that have been given to us.
Yeah.
It shows we can do it, but we have to invest in agriculture.
Yeah. So, Doctor, any last word that you deem to be important? Maybe I haven't asked you a question on that you deem to be important for our listeners to know. Any last word?
So I think my last word is just I want to differentiate again between the Dutch disease and a disease is a sickness. So I call it an economic sickness.
Yeah.
So we have to be wary about that economic sickness, and we must treat not the symptom, but we have to treat the cause. So this sickness is caused by resources that we get. So and it's not only the oil resource that we get. We see there one gold mine coming up, there are new uranium mines coming up. And that's good. It's good for investment.
Yeah.
But it can weaken other parts of the economy. In real terms, our exchange rate is probably stronger than it should be.
Yeah.
People look at a nominal exchange rate, but in real terms, today I read an article, it was released by the Namibia Statistics Agency that says it pays 350 Namibia dollars for a kilogram of biltong. It is expensive.
Yeah.
So that's the one. The other one I want to say in a final word is we have to look at how this oil and gas will change our society and our politics. And here we need to look in particular into how will it lead to increased corruption, what will happen to inequality, and will it affect our institutions? Will our institutions be strong enough to withstand these inflows that will come from oil and gas? I don't have the answer. I'm just raising the questions.
Yeah.
And I just say we have to be open-minded. There could be a weakening of institutions. Definitely on the Dutch disease, we already see that Namibia, in my view, is suffering from the Dutch disease, not because of oil and gas, but because of the other resources that we've had. We've not been able to diversify the economy. And with the oil and gas, it will.
All right. That has been about 60 minutes. That's, wow. All right. That's not how I'm going to end. I'm just going to call him and then just, end our discussions. All right.
Get social with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Our handle is Eagle FM Namibia.
Eagle FM, the eye.
Omutiha gutekirwa kaguna imatina omjo. Chikawa shafasa na longe shifa ya shiwike moshiwana. Iye moyawo ota ingongotisa mwene. Ana geshifa ya Namibia. ompitombwa nawa olonjika tseyithanena omayakulo niilandithomwa yoye yongeshefa yoye okupitila mo Eagle FM Media House ngoye twende twiimemeha uuka kombaanga nena. Kala omukwashilipaleki gwiimwepo yomoopologhalama dhetu moambo dhengela Selma konola 81 33765 Eagle FM, the eye.
No matter where you are, if you have a mobile device, you can tune into Namibia's #1 talk radio station by downloading the Eagle FM app on the Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. Download the Eagle FM app to tune into live Eagle FM programming or to listen to podcasts of previous broadcasts. Eagle FM, Namibia's #1 talk radio station.
My friend, why do you seem so worried?
Doctor, are you there?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I didn't want us to conclude it that way. So just finalize the word you were saying, and then we definitely conclude then. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm saying that we have to be wary about both the Dutch disease.
Yeah.
And I think I'm more concerned about the Dutch disease because I think we already suffer from the Dutch disease.
Yeah.
Our economy is not diversified. On the oil curves, I'm less worried, but with the oil curves, I will treat it like approaching a green traffic light.
Yeah.
It's for me easier to approach a red traffic light than a green traffic light because the green traffic light can turn red quickly.
Yeah.
So right now, for us, we on the oil curves, in terms of the strength of our institutions, it's like a green traffic light. But if we are not going to be careful, that green traffic light can turn into red just as you cross the intersection.
Yeah.
So we have to ensure that the oil blessing will not undermine the quality. And I want to stress the quality of our institutions because I believe the evidence is there that Namibia has strong governance institutions. The rule of law is applied, sometimes not efficiently, too slow.
Yeah.
But it does happen in Namibia. We have the rule of law. We have our judiciary that's very strong. But we must make sure that this oil wealth will actually strengthen our institutions and not undermine our institutions.
All right. So, Dr. Steytler, so this has been really a fascinating discussion, and your insight really shine a light on how we can make this oil discovery work for all of us, and avoiding the pitfalls as we discussed, and building something sustainable. So thanks so much for joining us on Unpacking the Day and sharing your expertise, and we appreciate you taking time. Thank you, and thank you again for joining us today.
Thanks, sir. Have a good day.
Same to you. All right, and that